What up, you guys? It's your girl Sevyn Streeter, and I am here with my girl Colleen, and this is Eating While Broke. So today I'm gonna hook y'all up with a little hood classic that I ate growing up. You know, when money get funny, sometimes you can never go wrong with a classic bologna, egg, and cheese sandwich, but it gotta be fried, a fried bologna, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you fry the bologna?
Yes, child, we're gonna fry some bologna today.
Oh, we fry it too?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you were just gonna cook the egg and melt the cheese on it. I didn't know. I've never actually had a bologna and egg sandwich.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well listen, I'm gonna put you on.
All right,
so
put
I
me on.
like to start, make sure it's a little warm.
Yes.
Okay, I like to start with the bologna, right? Because the bologna is gonna take the longest to cook. You
Okay.
feel me? So one piece for you, one piece for me. I will be honest though, I don't eat a lot of bologna these days. I like to keep it a little clean. I eat real clean now.
Okay, perfect.
But every now and then, it's just, you know, I just be craving the things that I ate growing up. You know what I mean? And don't get it twisted, because I will go home to this day right now, and if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and me and my family, my mom, my dad, my brother, we just up chilling and we just have one of those urges, we might make a little bologna fried egg, bologna and cheese sandwich for real.
Wow. So how does someone from Haines, Florida?
Haines City.
Haines City, Florida,
Yes.
which I did look up. It's a small town, a very small town.
Yes.
How does someone go from a small town to, you know, writing on Chris Brown's records, Kelly Rowland, Alicia Keys, like how, and you're banging out hits, but how do you go from, you know, the small town to?
Man, I mean, you know what? I sang everywhere growing up. I would sing at weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, talent shows, malls, like anywhere that I could. And, you know, throughout the years, singing kind of led me into different spaces. It led me into girl groups, which led me into meeting Chris Brown, which led me into writing for him, which, you know, led into me being able to write for other artists because of what I was able to do with him. So it was just it's a crazy journey, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Ooh,
Was he the first person that you wrote for?
He was my first placement.
Wow.
My first placement was a song called Yeah 3 Times.
Okay.
And yeah, it was my baby. It was my first time that I was like left in a studio to finish something up, and I was nervous as hell. But it was a good lesson for me, because it was like, all right, you better write the hell out of this verse, or you know. So.
But
it was
you
good.
were an artist.
Yes.
And then, of course, you were a songwriter. But how, when it came to Chris Brown, he sees you. He's like, you're an amazing talent. Come write for me, or was it like he saw that you wrote a really good song?
We were working at the same studio with him. I was in a group at the time, and we were working at the same studio across the hall, and I saw him in the hallway, and I was like, hey, yo, Chris, you know, I heard you was about to go write. Can I come and write with you guys? And
Wow.
honestly, I never had a writing placement. I never had any placements, but I don't know. I just feel like that was God saying, okay, you should go ask him if you can write. You
That
know?
was awesome. That's awesome that you did it.
Yeah, man, listen, God is good. You gotta.
You weren't scared to do it, or you were just like, I'm an artist. We're in the same place.
It's, you know what, at that point in my career, you just learn that when you have the urge and the feeling and the inkling to do something, you probably should act on it at the moment. You know, I don't like to have wasted opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I looked at it as an opportunity. Oh, girl, we over here.
Burning?
It's frying, girl.
Frying. It smells
It's
good
frying.
though.
It's frying. You got, see, I like for it to get a little burnt and a little crispy.
Okay.
You know, a little burnt, a little crispy. So I'm gonna let those, you know.
Yeah, make
we're gonna
it exactly how you
We're gonna
like
let them
it.
sizzle a little bit. Yes.
So you went from girl group to independent or just solo artist.
Yeah.
And how was that transition? Did you lose friends along the way?
You know what? That transition, I will say, it was twofold. In terms of me being a songwriter, it was so beautiful. It was amazing. You know what I mean? Because I got to be around a lot of amazing other songwriters, and you know, like I said, I didn't have any placement, so I was really learning. You know, and you know, Chris's Fame album and Chris's Fortune album, I wrote 7 songs with them on Fame and 7 songs with them on Fortune, and I was just surrounded by the most amazing creatives. Chris obviously being one himself, but just
And
dope.
he writes with you guys.
Yeah, he's an amazing songwriter.
Really?
Absolutely, an amazing songwriter. So I learned a lot. And so for my songwriting, it was amazing. In terms of me being an artist, you know, I'd been in girl groups pretty much all my life. So that was a little bit of a transition and kind of like, okay, now you know, you're on your own, you're solo. What do you want to sing about? What do you want to write about? And, you know, it was the beginning of me figuring out who I am in that sense, you know?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So when you were younger, did you know you wanted to be a songwriter, or it just started to develop as your artistry grew?
You know what? Being I always wanted to be a singer. I did not realize the value of being a songwriter, and I didn't realize how therapeutic it was. Like, songwriting is so therapeutic. Even if I'm not writing for myself and I'm writing for other people, it's like, oh, let me get these ideas and these emotions up off of me, child. So, you know, when I was younger, I didn't realize it. I just wanted to be a singer and I wanted to dance. And, you know, when songwriting came along, I started to realize there were so many more benefits. For one, it's therapeutic. For two, obviously the money is really great.
It pays a lot more, right?
It pays really, really great, and it pays you for a very long time. And so, yeah, so it just kind of became my baby too.
Speaking of pay, if you don't mind, for us that we really don't know how the financials work, because I know all the artists listening, they want to be mainstream. They want to be the Sevyn mainstream. They're not thinking about the artistry and songwriting and the publishing.
Right.
Can you explain kind of how that process works?
First, I'm about to smother me some mayonnaise on this bread. Do you like mayonnaise?
I love mayo.
Okay, mommy, I got you.
I'm glad you didn't say Miracle Whip.
I do not
I don't like Miracle
Whip. I only like Miracle Whip in like potato salad.
Okay.
My grandma Sally makes like the best potato salad.
Okay.
My grandma Lois and my grandma Ruby do not get mad at me because y'all potato salad is good too. Okay, y'all have other things that is like top tier. But yeah, I love mayo. I do not like Miracle Whip though.
Now I will say this though, I for years was never a big mustard fan.
Really?
Mainly just ketchup.
Oh,
but you know,
girl.
the older you get, the more. And I've had enough street Cali dogs to know that throw all the condiments on there.
Right.
You guys are doing
It's
it right.
like the more the merrier.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's
Yes.
like put everything on I need everything. Jalapenos. Like I'm here for all of it. I need a little bit more mayo too.
So when did you move to LA?
I moved to LA 2002.
So this is right when you're working with Chris, right when you're released.
No. This was early. I was in a group then. I was in a group called, 2002 was a group called TG4. And then a little bit after that, probably maybe 5 years after that, there was my other group, Rich Girl, and that was amazing. And then Chris came a little bit later. So it's been a little minute. LA is kind of like a second home to me. Okay. And I just love it because it allows me to be my most creative self. Some of the most creative people in the world out here. I love it.
Did you move here by yourself?
No, I moved here with my family, my mom, my dad, and my brother, which also my brother just so happens to, he produced the record. I'm going to sit this, yes, nice and crispy. My brother actually produced the song on my recent album. It's called Nasty Girl, and it's featuring Bia. And, you know, so that was a really full circle moment for me because, like I said, I moved out here with my family. So to look up and it's some years later, this is so fat and it's going to be so good and fat.
I love it.
So good and fat.
Smells good.
So good and fat.
So this is a family affair, it seems.
It is. My family, like, they're my dogs. Like, you know what I mean? That's my road dogs. They've held me down for a very long time.
So from the beginning, you were like, I want to do singing, and they said, all right, let's pack up our bags, let's support, let's put her in everything she wants to.
And everything we need to be in. And, you know, my brother played instruments from a very young age, so he's very musical too. And, Yeah, I was in a girl group when I was 15 years old, and me and my mother, we moved to California first. My brother and my dad came like a year after that, and I worked in that group until, for a year or so, and then the group disbanded after a year. And my family and I, we stayed in California for maybe like 5 more years. And then we moved back to Florida. And when I moved back to Florida, that's when I started to dabble in writing a lot more. I was working with the runners, and I just gotten just kind of diving into writing a lot. I like a lot of pepper too, by the way.
Okay.
I love
I'm with
pepper.
it. I'm trying it. However you eat it, I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna try to rate it too.
Yes, I love a lot of pepper.
So go back to the songwriting. I hate to read, just to kind of educate everybody. How does the process work? Does the artist, like say Alicia Keys, does she come to you and say, "Hey, I'm feeling blue today. Can you write a song about me feeling blue?" Or do you just come over to her house and hang out with her and Swiss?
No, sometimes it works like that. Sometimes I like to know what people are going through in their lives before I write songs about them. You know what I mean? I think that's how you get the best performance. That's how people best connect to the records. Consumers are smart, and they don't give them enough credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For being smart, they can feel when things are not authentic, and so I like to know what, like, for example, if I were writing a song about you, I would sit here and ask you, are you in love? Are you angry at someone? How do you feel about yourself? You know what I mean? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your insecurities? What are the things that you think make you bomb? Like, I want to know all of those things. So, that's a lot of the process. Well, that's a part of the process, because you also have other times where, like, for example, right now I just put out my album Drunken Wordz Sober Thoughtz, right?
Yeah.
And I have, when I finish my projects, I usually have a lot of songs left over. So what I like to do is I like to ship those songs out to whatever
You're not
artist.
a hater at all.
Nah,
Yeah, you share it.
It's like whatever artist is looking. Because at this point, I've gotten my creative juices off within my project. You know what I mean? So I don't like to let records just lay dormant on my on my hard drive. I want the ideas came to me because somebody needs to hear them. So they don't do any good by just sitting on my laptop. So I sell them that way too.
How do you select the ones that stay and the ones that go?
Now that's the question I have been trying to answer for a very long time. You just know when you know what your body of work is supposed to feel like. And it's one of those things no one can really tell you when that is, which is like, for me, it's been a 4-year process. You know what I mean? In between projects, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. I don't apologize for it. I think it was very necessary and therapeutic in a lot of different ways, but you just know when your project is done, Yeah.
Since you've been in the industry, have you had any hiccups?
I mean, I think that kind of just comes along with it. Every artist has their story, Every artist has been, in situations that you thought were going to go well and then ended up taking a left turn, and then you have to pivot from there. But I think that's just a part of it, and that's the thing that makes us, that's how you learn, you know what I mean? It makes you resilient. It puts more tools on your tool belt. You learn how to, shake and move and that whole type of thing. So experiences, I've been in groups, and groups have lost record deals. It's just been a lot of different things. I've had songs that I love, get, look up and the beats are gone because it's a lot of different little things. I've had people like within our industry, like, try to stop certain, deals and things like that. So have I experienced it? I've experienced it all. But at the end of the day, all it does is make me stronger. Yeah. All it does is add, it just makes me more resilient. It just puts an even bigger battery in my back,
Does it, like, what pulls you out of it? Is your mom coaching you through, or are you crying, or? Well,
what pulls me out of it is that I actually love what I do. So I think that it's like a little ludicrous for people to, there's nothing, to put it this way, there's nothing that's ever going to happen that's going to ever make me stop doing music. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like literally nothing in our
There's
sandwich.
never been a time where you doubted it.
There's never been a time that I've doubted my purpose. There has been times where I've doubted how things were going to get from one space to another, but I never doubted.
Can you give me an example of that?
Well, in between deals, in between albums, when you're trying to creatively figure out where you're gonna go next, what is it gonna be next, what is your music gonna sound like next, you know, what label are you gonna be at, who's gonna understand your art. Those people don't realize that the transitional periods in between when we give you guys one project to the next, there's a lot that goes on there.
Yeah.
So you really have to, you kind of, and you can't get around it.
Yeah.
You just have to go through it, you know? So it's one of those things that I'm so appreciative for. I really truly am. I really truly am. Because it's a beautiful journey. That's what it's about. That's what life is about.
Your parents make the adjustment from Florida, small town, small city in Florida, to LA was a big investment, I'd imagine.
Absolutely.
So did you feel any type of responsibility, like to pay back, or do you feel pressure, or were they just like, no?
My parents have never made me feel like that.
Okay.
They really honestly haven't. Until this day, like, they are my writers. Like, they go so hard. Anybody who know me, they know. They go so hard. So any pressure to no, no pressure.
Okay.
That's family. That's what you do for family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I love that.
you know, in every way that I can for the rest of my life, I tend on repaying them in different ways. You know what I mean? Like,
but it comes from a place of genuine love and not like pressure.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's pretty
good.
cool.
It's a blessing.
So we're almost halfway through your meal.
We're almost
I'm excited
halfway
to
through.
eat it. I'm hungry. It smells good. I've never had a fried bologna egg sandwich, so I'm looking forward to this.
Girl, I got you, okay?
So your favorite song on your album?
At the moment, my favorite song is a song called Fallback.
So Fallback. When you were writing this record, you wrote it by yourself or with writers?
I wrote it by myself.
So what were you going through?
Ooh, when I wrote Fallback, I was falling out of a situation with someone, and someone that I cared about very deeply, but really started to realize that we were a lot more similar than I thought, and maybe not in a lot of great ways, but also in you know, some not so good ways as well. You know, we kind of live similar lifestyles, and you know, sometimes that can clash a little bit because people are a little bit, they'll feel something but be a little bit hesitant to actually just, you know what, just dive all the way into it. And so Fallback is about that space where you know that it could move forward, but for, you know what, it's a little, you know what, Fallback, I won't hold that against you because love is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what Fallback is about.
You've been in love multiple times, or?
I mean, I think, you know, I've been in different versions of love. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah, because it's like, I think I'm still, you know, I think you never truly have this whole idea of what love is. I think that as I get older, I add a little bit more love knowledge onto my love tool belt. So, you know, I've been in love a few times.
Your parents have been together a long time.
Yes.
Do you feel like they're the bar?
I don't think there is a bar when it comes to love and relationships. I think it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very singular thing. It's a very, case by case thing. You know, relationship by relationship thing. Every relationship has its own rules and ways and vibes and whatever that is. It's like that's their business and that's what works for them and that's what works for them and that's what works for them. So, you know, you find what works for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry.
So what are your expectations for this next record? Like, what would you like to see happen?
I would like to see all of my fans I want them to get to a place where this song begins to speak for them. The record, the project begins to speak for them. That's all I really want. I want them to feel like I want them to feel seen and heard and understood. And if they don't have the words to express themselves, I want them to be able to put in the project to say, this is exactly how I feel. because I think that that's what music is about. It's about helping people communicate and express themselves. I need a little bit more butter. Your sandwich is almost done, but
yeah, exactly.
we have a knife, a sharp knife, no?
Growing up, who were your inspirations?
Growing up, my inspirations were Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, who else did I love? Brandy, Monica.
And you wrote for all of them. Well, not all of them, but you wrote for Brandy.
I wrote for Brandy, and that was like a dream come true for me.
Were you nervous at all, or you get to actually work with them, or is it you send it in?
No, I get to actually work with them.
Thank you.
And I lost my mind when she walked in the studio. I really did. Lost my whole mind. And I wrote a song with Chris for her called Slower. And it was just, and first of all, she killed that record. Just to even hear her sing words that we had come up with and melodies that we had come up with was like some whole other shit for me. I lost my mind.
Yeah, I bet.
I lost my mind.
And then seeing your name on her album?
Seeing my name on a Brandy album, because all my life, all I did was read the booklets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember those days.
I read them all.
Remember those days when you had the booklets?
The booklets.
And you could read the lyrics?
Yes, I would live in the lyrics. Yeah, so it was amazing.
Wow.
Really
Did you go through the phase of recording the radio at any point?
Say that one more time.
Recording the radio? You know, you put the cassette. This was before, when you had the cassette. You really couldn't afford nothing. You put the cassette in and you record the radio.
You know, I didn't record the radio. But the booklet vibe was definitely my thing. Like, it was definitely my thing.
Well, that's good. You weren't stealing music. Little music thief over here. Sorry.
Music lover.
Music lover.
You were music lover.
I was music lover on a budget, okay?
That's all. Listen here, eating while broke, music,
exactly.
and you have music while broke. Okay, that's
music
what it was.
While broke. The second I had money, I paid for my record stuff.
Amen.
Amen to that.
I want you to bite in it before it gets cold.
Yes, I want to try this. Here we go. This looks delicious. Look at the layers, the crisp.
It's pretty good.
Wow.
Right?
It's good warm.
Right. It's a vibe. It's a whole vibe. It's a classic. A fried egg, bologna, and cheese sandwich. And
it's really quick.
And it's super quick. Super duper quick. Okay, I'm going to make mine.
And the mustard adds a nice kick.
Right? And then if you want, like, you put some lettuce and tomato on there, But,
So what is something that your fans don't know about you? Your loyal fans, by the way, because I see them on your Insta and then all the comments. But
my fans, what don't they know about me? I really want to think about that.
Yeah, think about it. Because it would be nice.
Let me clean my workspace.
It'd be nice to watch this episode and say, oh my gosh, I did not know that about Sevyn.
I mean...
You didn't have a crush on Chris at all?
No. No.
I don't know if I could work with Chris.
Maybe that's something that they would be surprised to know. No. Like, it was always just family.
Who have you worked with that you got starstruck? Alicia Keys?
Starstruck? Oh, let me think.
If Alicia Keys walked in here.
I love Alicia. I definitely got starstruck when it was Alicia. The way our session started was on a Zoom, like on a Zoom at the time. Yeah. And even through a Zoom, I was like nervous as shit. Like,
did you just make the disclaimer like, look, you're Alicia Keys?
I'm nervous. I had to like put on a good face, like, yeah, like, nah, I'm good, like, yeah. What do you need for the record? You good? And then when we hung up, then I lost my mind. Then I lost it. But no, I love me some Alicia.
Did you feel like the day leading up to those moments with, like, say, Alicia Keys, where you're excited, Brandy, did you feel like knowing that was coming up in the middle of your day or in the beginning of your day, did you feel like the time ticked a lot slower?
Do I feel like the time was slower?
Yeah, you know when you're anticipating something?
Yeah.
And you're like, it's taking forever. You're like, why can't it be 2 o'clock?
Nah, I get lost in music when I do it. And I don't even know what time is when I work.
Wow.
I really don't. And I'll stay up for days and just work and work and work. I'll work, eat, shower, work, eat, shower, work, eat, shower.
I think there's something to be said when you do something that you genuinely are passionate about.
Yeah. So
what happens if someone hasn't found what they're passionate about? What advice would you give them, though?
for one, I'll just tell them what worked for me. I mean, I have a really great relationship with God. I wake up every morning, I watch my sermons, I pray, I meditate, I write all of my thoughts down. If I'm not writing them down, I'm recording them in my phone. Listen to yourself.
Do you keep a pad with you, or you just write them in your phone?
Sometimes I keep a journal with me.
Okay.
Sometimes I do. Sorry, I'm about to take a bite.
Take a bite. Show us that you eat.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to another successful episode of Eating While Brewing.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good. Mm-hmm. Daddy, Mama, Jay, I made our delicacy, okay?
Yes.
When I come home, you know what time it is.
Yes. I really wanted to know something that your fans really don't know about you. And
I mean, okay, do me this one. In what area of my life?
Personal.
Personal, okay. Love, family, girlfriends.
Love.
We
always love love. You write songs, right? It's all about love.
I do. Okay. Past, present, future.
Which one is the juiciest?
You let me know.
Dang.
You gotta pick a box. Past, present, future.
I feel like past is gonna be juicier because future is always bright, right? I mean, this is what we hope.
I mean, yeah.
And present could possibly be bright. I feel like past is always drama filled. I'm gonna go with past.
Okay. Past. Okay, so past relationships, past breakups, past loves of my life, past best sex I ever had.
Oh, shoot. I think my fans are probably going to want to know the best sex.
Past, who did I write, writing what were certain songs about? Are there songs that I wrote?
Can I get multiples? Just 2 multiples, and I'll let you go. I promise you.
All right.
Okay, we want to know the best sex for all the guys, okay?
Okay.
Look at the guys behind the camera. They're like, what? And then, what was the other one? I'm sorry. I got so excited.
It's okay. Past, we said, past songwriting, like writing songs about.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That one.
Okay. Well, if we're talking about sex, and I love mixing sex and food is actually a good little mix. Some good food and some good little sexy food, and having a good night and a good glass of wine and a good evening. Like, set it up. That's where we really begin with like good sex. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you got wine and dine, and it doesn't have to be super fancy. It could be whatever it is. But some good food, some good wine, some good music, and pay attention to. Women, we're very sensual. Pay attention to our bodies. We're going to tell you exactly what it is that we like. We're going to tell you what feels good. We're going to, at least, we should. I think women should be more vocal about that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of the faking, moaning, and we don't do that. There's no
I think, and I hate to be fully transparent, but I think that really comes down to, like,
how comfortable you are.
With yourself. Yeah. Like, you got to get with yourself first before get with someone else. I hate to say it, but it's true.
You be comfortable with yourself. Get to know yourself.
Get to know yourself first.
Know what makes yourself tick. Yes, you know what I mean? It's a very important thing. And then be with some, when sex is with someone that you're really comfortable with, it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah,
it's a really, really beautiful thing. And I have a record on my album called Change My Mind. And Change My Mind speaks about being in such a space with someone to where you may try a few things that you didn't think that you would want to try before or like before. And, so all of it goes hand in hand. I like to write about real life. And, me and my girlfriends have juicy conversations. And a lot of my brother type guy friends, I write with a lot of men. So these are like a lot of our dialogue in like studio. And that's how y'all think we write the sex records and how we write. Yeah. It's these conversations. So
it makes sense.
Yeah. We're human. It's human nature.
All right. Now the other one.
Let's
Are we going to hear a name drop here?
Nah.
That's what we were trying. We were trying to hear name drops on both. Okay, so go on.
No name drop. It's just one of those things. I love to pull from. First of all, I'm a Cancer, so I'm very in tune with my emotions and very sensitive, and but I think that's one of my superpowers, and you know, when I have records like say like It Won't Stop or like Before I Do, or even on my new project songs like, you know, Taboo. Taboo is a beautiful record about, you know, have you ever meet someone and things feel so great that, you know, naturally we like to go, ooh, is this too good to be true?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's a normal thing because, let's be honest, meeting people that you actually vibe with and, you know, you can check off a few, that it's rare, but when you know. And so Taboo is a song about not being afraid of that, you know, too good to be true thing. It's like too good doesn't have to be taboo. Why can I just want to be with you? Exactly. Why can you just want to be with me too? You know what I mean? Exactly. So in terms of love, I've definitely experienced that before. So that record is drawn from that situation.
I like that. Yeah. I'll say this for myself, and then I'm going to let you go because I know you're on a very crazy schedule. Okay. 2 things I learned when it came to relationships. One, when you meet someone and you guys have this, why are we just so in sync? When I went to counseling, what they had said was whatever feelings and emotions you had from your childhood are being brought up, and that's why you feel that stronger connection. But sometimes it's good and bad. You know, and you don't realize it's bad till
some things you carry over that need to be left in your, you know what I mean? You don't need to carry those over, and then some things, you know, they do. But that's why it's important to have conversations about it. Yeah. To talk about it, and then for people who don't know how to talk about it, that's why I take what I do so seriously. Because music really is a universal language. I don't care. You don't have to speak English, Spanish, French, whatever. If you feel something and music can help you express it, all you got to do is press play. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody's not good at expressing how they feel. So, you know, music can be that tool.
Yes. Yeah. And then the last thing I wanted to say was, and I don't know if you've had this discussion with your girlfriends, but when girls pick guys, we tend to lean towards what's safe. Well, actually, I take that back. I feel like when guys date, when they make it a girlfriend or wife, they make sure she's safe. When girls date, we tend to be drawn to the players and the more riskier guys. I mean, we have a balance definitely between hot and cold, but I definitely think women take the most risks when it comes to dating in serious relationships.
I think that I won't say the most, but we do take risks for sure. Yeah. Because you always hear it, you know. We always hear it that good girls like bad boys. We get that. But also I think that it just sometimes it's sometimes let's say men may think that things are one way, but then things turn out to be a whole other way. Like, you can never judge a book by its cover. So
I tell my hubby that all the time. Like, girls are slick. You know what I'm saying?
Very. I tell my brother that all the time.
Yeah, don't ever get it twisted. Girls are very smart, okay?
Yes, they are.
Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming out, feeding me. You're welcome. I look forward to sharing this recipe in the Eating While Broke book. You guys can check out Sevyn's recipe and eat what we eat while you listen to our episode.
Yes, and Drunken Wordz Sober Thoughtz.
Yes, please go out, check out the album. Yes. I know I'll be listening to it on the way home.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.